everybody. Vexus World. It's Jerry Barnes with the Vexus 2-stroke. This is just going to be a follow-up video. I've already got one video out on this boat, a review. Talk about a few things I've discovered about the boat, good and bad. First time I had only been out about twice. I've probably been out 10, 12 times, in this boat now, so I know a little bit more about it. I'm gonna start right here at the console area. Like I said, so the boat when you buy it, it's pre-wired for a SmartCraft engine. So that's an 86 150. It's not a SmartCraft engine. So when I originally purchased it, I had to that motor has to have a choke circuit, so I had to rob. So I have added an active image and 3-in-1 transducer on the back. We'll look at it in a little bit. So when I did that, I was able to pull 2 more wires, and I was able to, so I had to use my trim gauge wire originally. So I've got my trim gauge back. What else I did was here, I added a temperature gauge. This is water temperature. I said that motor, I've always run it with that. I like that. You can depend on that water pressure if you want. I'm not a big fan. So by doing that, it made me move my ignition switch. I had to move it up here. Not the ideal situation where I want it, but it's fine. It does the job. So that's a few little things I did. I did add this Pro Trim lever right here. I want to say something I said in the first video about this boat has fiberglass. Fiberglass ride quality. It does. One thing it doesn't is it doesn't handle the same, and it could be just my inexperience with a high performance aluminum boat. But it's very responsive, very quick when you make changes with the steering wheel. So I've learned that I like my hands right here all the time. So I put this trim switch in. I love it. Works out really good. Something else. So here I've got I went with a twin graph setup right here. This is a balls out mount. Something to consider if you're ordering this boat. If you think you're going to run dual graphs, maybe not go with this surface mount right here, because there are some companies that make some nice brackets where you can run them right here dual. This was the setup I had. I like this. This is fine. They're both easily viewable from the seat, but this was the setup I went with. One thing I want to talk about was this little live well controller right here. One thing I do like Vexus has done, and this could be industry standard, is so everything besides the bilge pump, all functions are controlled through one pump and a 3-way valve. But I did have an issue with the cable that controls that valve. The design of the cable I'm not real a fan of. I would recommend a different style. So there's a keeper on the other end that holds it in place, but on this end there wasn't a keeper, and it kept popping out. So I couldn't get it to make the valve work. So I had to end up putting a cable clamp on it basically to do the job. It was to make it work, but it does work. It's still a little bit stiff, but it works. So this little cup holder here, something I put together with some plastic PVC and some C-deck, to be honest with you, because it'll hold a Yeti Rambler. So like, if you got a passenger here, you lose that. No passenger, fine. So if you got a passenger in there, you lose that cup holder. I am trying to come up with something for the passenger side to do. So let's see, I did buy this seat for my wife. It's kind of futuristic looking. I hope it's comfortable. It's a nice looking seat. Got that for her. So over here, this is the active imaging. I put the active imaging transducer on there, and I did the jack plate mount. So it's only good for idling basically around, but I like that. I did go with the motor mate. I recommend that instead of trying to stretch. It is a long reach on this trailer. That the gator locks, I like that. It's all nice. So one thing I don't understand with Vexus is these holes right here are not at the bottom of the splash well. It might just be my pet peeve. I wish they were a little bit lower. You always have a little bit of standing water in the splash well. Might be something they do. look at. So I did add this. I think that was in the first video. There's nothing under here to hit. If you ever want to drill in this area, I called Vexus. It's good. Also talked to them about this rod ramp. I'm never going to use it as a rod ramp. I like my rods coming this way. But there's no, according to Vexus, there's nothing under here either. So I'm thinking about cutting a hole and putting a cup holder in maybe right here. So there's nothing, don't have to worry about hitting anything. Just little stuff that I learned from Vexus, passing it on. So I did a little modification on some of my, so this is a rod locker, and I end up giving up 3 of my tubes, but this is what I designed. I carpeted it up, some more PVC. This is the way I laid out my tackle storage on this side. Got a spare trolling motor prop, fire extinguisher mounted in there, and I still got, even though there's 5 holes left, you could get 6 or 7. There's one of them doubled up in there right now. You could get 6 or 7 rods in here. I've seen videos where guys, I did put this edge trim. Couldn't do it on all sides. I did put it on most of my lids. There's another video of an owner, he gave up that big one in the middle, and I can see that, but that holds a lot of rods, and I like this setup here. To each his own on that. Okay. So I did get this Garmin. I added this Garmin Echo Map 93SV. It's an awesome unit. If you can tell by looking at the boat, I'm mostly a ranch guy, but bought this, got it on a good deal. I did get the live scope transducer right here. Awesome. This stuff is awesome. It is as advertised. So I got the trick step. I added the trick step right here. I like this. It says in a hole, I think 450 pounds. It's a little, you gotta get used to it, but I feel confident in it. So another thing that I want to talk about on this boat, and I think I've talked about before, but with me being, I'm 6'3", and I still say what I said before, get the tilt steering. I didn't. But the distance from here to here to me is tight. I have tried to get in through here, and I would like to move this back to there. I've been unsuccessful so far, but to me, that there, and my recommendation to Vexus would be this panel right here, get rid of this cup holder, or either put this cup holder right here, but I would, to me, I would make this about like that, half the width. Put those little notches over here in this corner if you have to be, so you could move this as far forward as you could. Maybe with mine, with a cable, you might have some issues, but with the newer ones, all wired, you could slide this. I feel like you could gain at least 4 inches by making a couple of little changes there and there. So keep that in mind. If you're a very tall person, it's a little bit cramped. Not terribly so, but it is. So here's the other. I did the same thing on this compartment here. I put me a little divider, carpeted it. I've got my Plano 3700s. This is the way I laid out my tackle. I like it. And there's a picture of the balls out mount. I've got, this is a 9-inch. For the front, I've got a 6, but this is a 9, so you can see where it puts the graphs in relation to each other. If that's something you're interested in doing. So I'm gonna get in the boat. There's a couple of things that I want to talk about inside there, and it'll just be easier for me to be in there and talk about it. So one thing I don't like, and I've heard another reviewer, another owner, another Vexus owner, where he actually, because you can get a little glove box in here instead of this cup holder, and the other guy, he had it, he said it wouldn't, it stayed soaked. Same with this compartment. It stays wet. Anything you're gonna put in here, count on it getting wet, unless you got it in a plastic bag. I don't care. They could have done a little better, put a lip on this of some kind, because the rest of the compartments, they're pretty good. I will say that this boat's fairly dry. This compartment I don't like. If I could find me a big seal line, if seal line made me a bag that fit right in there and had one zipper, I'd have it in there. And I'd put everything in there. Anything in here is gonna get wet. It's probably wet in here now. It is. So another thing with this compartment I don't understand is this right here. I don't know what these are. If you're supposed to put needle nose pliers in them, I don't know who's gonna have 6 pair of needle nose pliers on board. But what I do not like is this here is a separate compartment than that. And guess what? It's real easy to drop a nut or a washer down in there. And if it's stainless steel, good luck getting it out. I had to use a vacuum cleaner. So I don't know what this is for. I had to peel the epoxy off so I could get down in there. So I don't know, maybe this is a vent. I'm not real sure what this is. I don't want it. I'm thinking about C-decking over it, because if you drop stuff down in here, it's a task to get it out, believe me. So I think overall I like the boat. It rides really well. The polyurea, it's a little slick in the morning sometimes, to be honest with you. I still like it over carpet. So one thing I did find also that I want to talk about was, so I found some unused space on this boat, and I try to take advantage of it. So right up under here, under this console, I don't have it with me, but it had the original plate on it, and so I took it off. Watch out, these can end up in those little slots too. So I just put me my 4 little studs in there. I cut my compartment out, and this is my emergency. This is an emergency compartment, so you can tell it's not real easy to get to, but you can start focus on it. If you're broke down, so here and here I've got a spare prop, and I've got a little emergency tool bag. This is all stuff that if I need this, I don't care about getting down there and open this compartment because I'm in a bad way. So anyway, this was all, there's nothing, there's a little bit of wiring in here, and I took some tie wraps and tied it back. And this is basically some 3/4 plywood, and I put it in 2 sections, and I carpeted it, and I made it a tight fit, and then I put some C-deck on the back wall and the side wall so that maybe the prop blades won't hit against the aluminum. But just I really like this. If you've got this is an AVX 1980. If you've got this boat, you've got this hull. And just a little idea of how I utilized it. Maybe some viewers out there might like that idea and utilize it themselves. But pretty much, Vexus is a quality company. I like them. A lot of stuff done really well on this boat. Really, the electrical is really tight, neat. Everything really neat on it. You can tell they put some detail and pride in the building of it. But there are things, like with any other thing, nothing's perfect. You buy things, so I'm not being, I'm not really not negative on this boat at all. Just telling you the things that I have slight issues with. But anyway, so now in closing, I'm not a big time YouTuber. And I don't think I had my comments set right in my settings. I did say I've got some people actually looking at my videos. That's fine. I love it. Thank you. But I went in there I hope I fixed that. But if you've got any questions about anything I've done or something you might want to do, email me. It's jbarnes610@yahoo.com. That's J as in Jerry, BARNES 610@yahoo.com. Just title it Vexus 2-Stroke. If you got questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Till next time, thank you.